What is up, my fellow gamers? This is your boy Proto here, and welcome to another episode of Like or Dislike, where we look at some of the latest games coming out, give you a little backstory behind the game, show you a little gameplay, talk about some pros and cons, and just give you some info to decide if you really want to invest into this game or not. But we're looking at Burnout Paradise. Now, this is one game I was looking forward to, because this is actually a remaster from the 360 and PS3 versions come. This is the first Burnout to be coming on the next gen consoles. And honestly and truthfully, this was the only Burnout I had not played, so it gave me an extra reason to get it and play it. Now, there are some good and bad things about this one, but I think at the end of the day, it'll just depend on what you like in the game. But let's go on and get into it. Like I said, this is the remastered version that came out on 360 and PS3 a few years back. So it's the first Burnout to come onto the consoles. Now, what's different about this Burnout from all the other Burnouts that came out, this is the first open world series of the game. Beforehand, all the Burnouts were pretty much linear games. You selected a race and you did the race and boom, there you go. In this one, you are basically unleashed into a city called Paradise City, where you drive around looking for events, looking for Easter eggs, looking for little special events. And that's the basis of it. You just find events and you start them up. Now, they did do some things that are different in this one from all the other ones. Now, a few of the different things are, instead of, like I said, in the previous ones, you just selected a race, you have to drive around and find the races. And usually you find races by going to an intersection and you start up a race. Now, they did bring back some of the old traditional races like road rage, traditional races up and down, and they added in some new ones, which weren't bad. They actually added in this new mode where you basically have to get from the start to the finish without getting crashed by your other opponents. And you're basically like the hit target. Everybody's coming after you. So it's really interesting playing that one. And it was a nice change of pace because it's still the Burnout type of way, which was pretty cool. And like I said, they did add in a couple of new modes, but the traditional modes of Burnout are in it. Now, like I said, with it being an open world, it is very different in a sense. And one of the big differences is with every race, you have a start and you have an end point, but there's no particular path. You basically get there however you want to. Now, this is a change from all of the traditional Burnouts where, like I say, you had a linear race, start, finish, and you had areas where you can go, areas you couldn't go. So that changes up the game a little bit, because now instead of having this defined path, you can go whichever way you want to, but you have to be careful with that, because you could go the wrong way and end up being way off course. And that happened a couple of times with me. So, but the GPS on it is kind of iffy. When you're getting close to an intersection you need to go, you'll literally see the street signs come up, and the street sign that's supposed to be the best direction for you will be blinking. So you have to hit that street sign. Now, this is still traditional Burnout, so you're going super fast, so you have to pay attention to it. Otherwise, you'll miss it and you have to replot yourself and keep on going. But, you know, that does add, like I said, it's a completely change from all the other Burnouts, and it's something that a lot of people like, a lot of people don't like. Me personally, I didn't like it. But, like I said, to each his own. Now, otherwise, it's still traditional Burnout. You still take out people like you normally would. You knock them off the road. You run them into cars. They can knock you into cars. The feel of Burnout is still there, and that's what I'm excited about. Even with these changes, just the basic races and the road rage, they feel like Burnout, and those were enjoyable. Those were good. Another change in it, and I'm sorry I didn't mention it when I was mentioning the other changes, is how you unlock cars in this one. And basically, you're told that this car is now available, but you have to find it in the city. You have to find somebody racing in the city. You find it and you just have to take it out in Burnout style. And once you take it out, it's added to your collection. Now that's a nice little change, because when you find the cars, they're not easy to take out. They're actually trying to get away from you. So it lets your creativeness of Burnout work for you. You can run them off the road, run them into cars, whatever you got to do to take them out, and the car is yours. So that was a nice little change of pace. It adds another level to it. Now, of course, is still a burnout. You're going to have everything to grind for, because you start off as a low level driver and you're working your way up to be the #1 driver in Paradise City. So, and they do it like in the sense where you have licenses and you have to keep ranking up, completing all these races to improve your license ranking, and then boom, you're there. That's where the grind of Burnout is. So that grind is still definitely there. And then as you go up into each level license, the drivers do get more difficult. The races do get more challenging. So it will be a fun grind if you definitely get it. But with all that said, let's get to the pros and cons. And we're going to start off this one with the pros. Now, the pros of Burnout Paradise. The first one, racing feels like a Burnout game. And that goes back to what I said. They kept the core of what this game is, a Burnout game. It's still fast paced. You're still taking out opponents. Opponents still taking out you. They surprisingly didn't put the aftertouch effect back in this, which kind of surprised me. That, to me, I thought that was a nice little touch if you're trying to get an extra takeout or take an extra burnout or get your boost back up. That was a nice little touch. I'm kind of surprised they didn't bring that back. Another pro is new types of racing modes. They didn't just stick with the same old racing modes. Like I said, you have new ones that are actually very fun and very challenging. So it adds another level of depth to it. The next pro we're going to look at is the remaster of the game. Now, in my opinion, they did the remastering very well. They kept the game exactly like it is and improved the graphics of it. And a bonus to it is they gave you a lot of the DLC for this game for free that came with it. So you already have a lot of vehicles from DLC unlocked. You just have to unlock the basic vehicles. So I thought that was pretty nice. And the final pro we're going to look at, good grinding, very challenging. Like I said, it's still traditional Burnout with grinding to get to the next level. Every race is challenging. The opponents are never pushovers, and they will even try to gain up on you. So if you're looking for a decently challenging racing game, that is for you. Now, let's look at the cons. Now, the first con we're going to look at, no set racing path. And that might turn off a lot of people. At me personally, it turned me off for sure. Because whenever the race starts, you have a beginning point and start point. Your beginning point might be in the country where it's simply one road going into the city, which has every road in the way. And like I said, you make one wrong turn and you're gone. You'll be completely off track and you'll go from first place to 8th place. And the way I see they could relive it was put a better GPS in there. Put a better way to track to that point. Now they have a little yellow arrow, and I'll show it right here. This little arrow is supposed to be showing you the right direction you're supposed to be going all the time. But a lot of times it can be flipped up as soon as you turn. And like I said, with the street signs turning, that's supposed to help you, but if you're not paying attention to it, you'll miss and be off track. So that could probably piss off a lot of people. For me, like I said, it started turning me off from the racing. The next con we're going to look at, you can't place waypoints on the map. And this is surprising to me. It's 2018, and that's kind of more or less like a standard in most open world games to be able to set a waypoint so you can go to where you want. I mean, you have certain points of interest on the map, and you can't set a waypoint to get to them. To me, that's very weird that you can't set a waypoint so you can get to it. I understand it's an open world. I understand it's not a set path, but at least you'll be able to set a waypoint and use a little yellow arrow and use the directional signs that they set up so I can get to that point of interest. So that was definitely a personal con for me, and I can see that can make a lot of people mad because you have to keep going back and forth on the map to make sure you're going in the right direction. And why did you have to do that? Now, the next con we're going to look at, you cannot fast travel. To me, that is one of the biggest mistakes you can make in an open world game, is to not be able to fast travel. I mean, I understand if you can't fast travel in the beginning of the game and then you eventually unlock it and you can fast travel. That's cool, totally understandable. But you cannot fast travel at all. I mean, yes, the game is very beautiful and I don't mind driving around the city, but if I'm trying to complete the game and trying to complete races, I don't want to have to spend 10-15 minutes driving all the way from the country just to get into the city to do an event that I need to do. I should be able to either fast travel to a certain point or fast travel to that event and start the event up. So I thought that was very weird. And the last con we're going to look at is back on the GPS and direction arrows. And like I said, it might work for some people, it might not. It just depends on what you like. like I said, it's not the best system. They probably could have came up with something better. Like in all the previous ones, they had little arrow directions, let you know, make sure you're going in the right direction, make sure you stay on this right path. I mean, there's many open world games now where when you activate the GPS, you have arrows that are on the ground and helping you go to that right direction. Something simple they could have did. And that's the pros and the cons of the game. So at the end of this, I have to give this game a dislike. I have lost interest. I have probably put like 3, maybe 4 hours into this game, and I have definitely lost interest in it. And all of those cons really turned it off for me. And it's crazy because I love Burnout. I've played every Burnout game that's been out. And so for this one, it really disappointed me. I was really hoping with this one that, you know, they would just build upon the last ones. To me, they should remaster Burnout Takedown or Burnout Revenge. Those ones are very good examples of the Burnout series. But to each his own. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know whether you guys like it or dislike the game, if you got the game, or if you're going to get the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure to follow us on Facebook. If you have an idea for a game or if you just want to reach out to us, you can hit us up on there. Make sure to follow us on Twitch. You can see us streaming different games, working on strategies, and just interacting with our crowd. But this is Proto, and I will catch you guys later.